Hello lovely YouTubing people, so I'm back and it's fire here today. It's just poured all day, so I'm upstairs again where we normally film. I borrowed daughter's bedroom for this because she's got cheerful paint on the walls and I like it, and the light is a bit better, although not today because it's grey as hell out there, but it is what it is. We shall push ahead anyway. I am back for the third instalment of hysterectomy today, and as promised, it is appropriately labelled, so there you go. I am back today to talk even, and I call myself a writer. I'm back today to talk about the different types of hysterectomy, and I suppose I should get my disclaimer in, which is, you know, something I'm good at. As I understand it, these are the three types of hysterectomy we offer here in the UK. I don't know if there are other or different options offered anywhere else. Do ask your medical professional. So there are three types of hysterectomy that we offer here in the UK, and I'll give you a very quick description. I got my notes because God knows that I'd never remember them all, and some of the titles I'm going to butcher the names anyway, so we do what we can. Right, so hysterectomy. Once you have kind of decided, or really I suppose once your surgical team or your doctoring team, once they have started talking to you about a hysterectomy and you make the decision for yourself that you think that that's the right way to go, because I suppose that's the one thing that I can say in my situation is that when we met with the registrar on the 27th of December, she explained to me what the basic advice was and what the outcome of that should be. At no point did I have to do it. You know, she was like, ask all the questions you can think of. If you're not prepared to do it, let's book another appointment, let's come back, let's, you know, and she was constantly looking to kind of problem solve and keep lines of communication open and be calm, and which is great, isn't it? So once you are on the hysterectomy path, you will find, I would imagine, that you are encouraged down a particular route, one of the three options, with a kind of a fourth subheading option, and you will be encouraged because the method of surgery that they encourage you to take will be because of the problems that you've got. So this will all become clear in a minute. It sounds like a lot of our waffle at the moment. So number one, you have got the vaginal hysterectomy, which is where they remove the womb out of your hoo, and they'd expect you to stay in hospital for about a day. And it all sounds quite invasive, doesn't it? And then there is a laparoscopically assisted hysterectomy, still vaginal, and this is when the womb is still removed through your hoo, and with the assistance of a laparoscope, which is a small cut underneath the belly button, and I'm assuming like a camera and other bits and pieces are kind of put in through the small cut, like keyhole surgery, like what we probably all remember as keyhole surgery. And again, you'd normally be going home the following day, which for the word hysterectomy, I don't know about you, but I'm 42, which I've said before. As a 42-year-old woman, I sort of remember the conversations when I was younger with family members and female family members, and, you know, kind of hushed conversations that I probably wasn't supposed to hear. And, you know, the hysterectomy was something that kind of made the women in my life quite fearful, and the recovery time and the length of the surgery and how aggressive and invasive it was, and the risks, and I think now when I look at the top two options and think, well, they're going to send me home in a day, kind of, if you can hear that, I'm not sure if the mic's picking it up. If you can hear that, it is blowing a bloody gale out there. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, first two options, you're home in a day, back up on your feet in 3 weeks. That's pretty good going. Second option, can't count either now. Third option is the abdominal hysterectomy, and this is where they remove the womb through a cut in the abdomen, and the cut can either be like your cesarean, if you've had a cesarean, it'll go along there, or they can do a transverse incision, which is kind of up and down. So you would be expecting to go home after 3 nights in hospital for this one. Now, what I can say is that, as I understand, again, do feel free to correct me, if you've had a cesarean and your scar is substantial, I've got twins, my scar is substantial, going in through the cesarean scar is not an option, and they would look at the transverse hysterectomy for that. Now, what is, with the hysterectomy, they generally remove the womb and any kinds of fibroids or tumours or bits and pieces or that's going on. The next section, turn the page on my notes, is kind of like the fourth option that goes along with a hysterectomy. It's the additional extra. And it is called the, ready, oophorectomy. Fairly sure I'm saying that wrong, but that's how it's spelt. The oophorectomy is where they take the ovaries as well, and if they're going to do a hysterectomy and an oophorectomy, they do it all at the same time. Now, in some cases, when they do the hysterectomies, they don't take the ovaries, they try and leave you with them so that you don't get pushed straight into surgically induced menopause. But for me, I don't get that option, I don't get that choice, because of the way mine is all, I'm erming a lot today, I'm sorry. Because of the way my issues are, and because of the growth on my ovary and the weight, and probably the damage where we've got the twist in the tube, and now that all the assessments have kind of come back with cysts on the other side, and they basically don't want to have to go back in a few years and start again. So I get to have the whole lot, the whole kit and caboodle, where they take the womb, the ovaries, the tubes. I mean, if it's in there, they're going to take it out. So there you go. The doctor has basically kind of said, obviously they're going to try and do it laparoscopically, keyhole, but the 8.5 centimetre mass on the ovary is too large, and they don't want to risk perforating it, which sounds just grim, doesn't it? And because of that, I should just kind of put it into my mind that I'll have to have full open surgery. And if I wake up and they've managed to do it laparoscopically, well, then that's a bonus for me. So they kind of tell me. What happens once it's been decided is they put a time frame on it. So in my case, it was sort of 10 days to 6 weeks. And they book your pre-op, and your pre-op appointment is within a month of surgery. So once your pre-op appointment comes through, you know that within a month you're going to be in, you know, unless something, you know, kicks up. So I had my pre-op appointment week, 2 weeks. I had my pre-op appointment a couple of weeks ago, and you meet with the pre-op nurse, sometimes your doctor as well, depending on what kind of tests you need, and they go through everything. Now, because I'd only, just before Christmas, I'd spent a couple of days in the hospital, there was very little test-wise that they needed to do to me at my pre-op, because it had all been done within the last couple of weeks. Whereas if you're going through this and your process has been longer and more drawn out, or you've taken a bit longer to make your decision, or there's just been other factors, then potentially your pre-op appointment will be a lot more involved than mine was. My pre-op appointment was a great place to ask questions. I asked absolutely every single solitary question I could think of. I had a notepad and I wrote everything down, and I left voice memos on my phone and things in my notes on my phone, and anything that my husband wanted to know or anything like that, we put it all down. We put it all down on the page. And I mean, I had the poor pre-op nurse. And one of the kind of factors that running alongside this for me is that even though I didn't know it before, there is a possibility that this could be caused by undiagnosed endometriosis. And that was kind of one of the questions that my nurse couldn't answer. And so there was a couple that she couldn't answer. And she said that because my appointment, my surgery is scheduled and everything's kind of ticking along calmly, and we hope it stays that way, on the day of the surgery, I will meet my anaesthesiologist, meet my surgeon in the morning, and all those kinds of things. And any questions that she couldn't answer, or I haven't been able to get answers for, you know, that's the time to bombard your surgeon and ask the questions. So I don't know a great deal about endometriosis, and whether or not it's undiagnosed or not at this stage doesn't actually affect me at all because it's all coming out. However, I have heard different women say that endometriosis can travel down, and I've got daughters, so I need to know. So those will be sort of some of the questions on the day that I ask my surgeon. So yeah, so I get to have all the things, lucky me, and with the open surgery and going transverse, the line will be transverse as well. I'm looking at more like 3 to 4 days in the hospital, and it is more like 4 to 6 weeks on recovery time. There's lots of information that the NHS give you, and they give it to you all at pre-op. I got a pack with like recovery information and what to expect, a list of what to take to the hospital. And I mean, the last time I had this kind of medical assistance, I was going in to have a baby. So it's kind of very similar to that. You get all that same kind of information, and you get that same kind of support and kindness as well. And I'm sure you get that across the NHS, but I'm really, really lucky, and I haven't had to deal with other departments in the NHS. So I can say that the gynae wards and the blood wards and the oncology wards and all the sisters and nurses and doctors and registrars and everyone has just been so great. And yeah, you know, sometimes things take longer, and sometimes when you go down for appointments and clinics are running longer than your appointment's late, but you know, people have gone into those appointments before you and have got bad news. So I don't mind if things are running a little bit late, and I don't mind if things are a little bit behind. And what did surprise me, because I've been obviously in and out of the hospital quite a bit in the last few weeks, what did surprise me is the signs all over the hospital, big posters advertising that the NHS staff won't tolerate violence, won't tolerate, and it really surprises me that they would have to put up with that kind of thing. The nurses and doctors and everyone I've dealt with has just been so kind. I don't know why. I don't know why they'd have to worry about violence when all they're having, you know, all they're trying to do is help you. So that's my quick off-topic ramble on, you know, please be nice to doctors and nurses. So do please be nice to doctors and nurses. So this is where we're at. I've had my pre-op, my surgery's next week, and I will hopefully pop up next Friday with a video. It may be more like Monday of the following week, but what I'm going to try and do is I'll probably get you some footage of me looking very kind of grey and makeupless, but I'm going to try and give you a day 1, day 2, day 3 so that you know what to expect. It'll probably just be a couple of minutes here and there, and I'll need to be home and rested for a few days before I sort of try and splice it all together. But that's kind of what's coming next, is, you know, what happened immediately after. So I'm a little bit nervous, and I'm trying to stay upbeat, which I know my positivity annoys the hell out of some people, but that's who I am. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say. So I will see you in a few days, minus a few bits and pieces. See you all later, lovely folks.